government has mandated under a policy document that has now been withdrawn for review, that any member of Biafran separatist groups intending to apply for asylum on the grounds of political persecution must be physically present in the United Kingdom, the cable reports. It also stated that applicants must not be considered a security risk to the UK. According to cable, it was disclosed that the UK Visas and Immigration had released new guidelines to its decision makers on how to consider and grant asylum applications by members of Biafran secessionist groups. Asylum is to be granted to persecuted members of the indigenous people of Biafra, Ipob, which has been labeled as a terrorist group by the Nigerian government, and the Movement for the Actualization of the Sovereign State of Biafra, MASOB. The Nigerian government has opposed the decision, while Ipob has declared that what it wants is freedom through referendum and not an asylum. Although the UK has said that it is bound by specific resolutions to protect those in need, the decision is perceived as unfair to the Nigerian government. The policy documents has now been withdrawn for review with an update expected shortly. Lagos-based radio now reported burden of proof. In the country policy and information notes, Nigeria, Biafran secessionist groups seen by the cable, the UKVI, a division of the Home Office, stipulates that the credibility of every application must be assessed under asylum policy instruction. The policy states an asylum claimant will be granted asylum in the United Kingdom if the Secretary of the State is satisfied that he is in the United Kingdom or has arrived at a port of entry in the United Kingdom. He is a refugee as defined in Regulatory 2 of the Refugee or Person in Need of International Protection Qualification Regulations 2006. There are no reasonable grounds for regarding him as a danger to the security of the United Kingdom. Having been convicted by a final judgment of a particularly serious crime, it does not constitute danger to the community of the United Kingdom, and refusing his application would result in him being required to go, whether immediately or after the time limited by any existing leave to enter or remain, in breach of the Geneva Convention, to a country in which his life or freedom would threaten on account of his race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or membership of a particular social group. The subsisting policy of assessing credibility and refugee status has been in place since 2015 and applies to those applying for asylum and refugee status. A claimant who makes an asylum claim and then leaves the UK will no longer be considered. The burden of substantiating a claim lies with the claimant, who must establish that they qualify for international protection, the guidelines states. Paragraph 339 of the United Kingdom Immigration Rules emphasizes the burden on the claimant to provide an evidence and the duty of the caseworker to assess the information put forward in cooperation with the person. The UKVI says its caseworkers must examine, investigate, and research the available evidence and, if appropriate, invite submission of further evidence, although the caseworker may well be in a better position than the claimant to substantiate aspects of the account. Weight of evidence. Evidence to be considered in dealing with asylum requests includes screening interview, statement made to an immigration officer prior to the claim being made, or information supplied when they applied for a visa, preliminary information form, asylum interview, a statement of evidence form, other evidence submitted by the claimant, e.g. written statement, newspaper or internet articles, witness statement from family or associates, police or medical reports, political party membership cards, country of origin information, files relating to previous applications by the claimant or other relatives, passports, where available, checked for entering and exit stamps, visa to confirm the claimant's immigration status and history. Okay, the whole thing is just on and on and on and on. So what it means that there, of course, there are procedures for all of those things, but good and fine. The people, the group has come out to tell them that hey, all of these things, they don't want it, and they themselves are saying that even if you don't want it, that is what they have as a country to help people. But the people say no, 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 we don't want to go and be a citizen in another man's country. That is not what they are talking about. We appreciate you for your good gesture. All of those things that you have outlined, the same banner, they are not interested in that. Maybe a few people might want to be interested, but the body, the leader of the group has come out to say no, it's not, that is not what they want. You have done well, but you can keep it to yourself. That is what they have said. They should first grant their asylum to all those their political puppets who are always running to their country for treatment. They are the ones in desperate need of asylum. People in IDP camps all over North East need it more than the most stable zone. They should take the asylum to where they will get gratitude. Nigeria and Britain are still a learner because we Biafrans never demanded for asylum, rather total freedom, which is to conduct a referendum for we Biafrans to decide where to go, because Nigeria is a destiny killer. We are not interested. Only Biafra is what we want and what we must get. We can't run from our father's land for foreigners to take over. Never. In the next 30 years, when we would have built Biafra into a very powerful country, and Islamist jihadists must have taken over Britain and renamed London to London Star. Many Brits will seek asylum in Biafra. It's just a monkey trick gift. We want our freedom. Simple. If the British can now acknowledge that our company called Nigeria is all about human rights abuses and promoting of terrorists, then what is stopping them from attending the issues they knew that Biafra wants to have been shouting since they created the problem? Well, it is a game plan of Nigerian government and UK government too. After the so-called checkup that the young man went to UK for, they brought the evil agenda or evil idea of asylum. God will destroy UK and zoo. Well, keep your asylum to yourself. We need referendum, not other way round. These people called Britain are insulting Biafran too much. This is just a waste of time. All we want is independent nation of Biafra and Oduduwa Republic. A refugee is a less privileged person in any society. Freedom hacker don't seek asylum, but fight for freedom, even with the last blood standing. So guys, let's hear your opinion and your take on this.